In March of 1998, I was really excited to go to New Orleans for the first time. Now, my family reportedly has heritage from Louisiana. I've never done the genealogy to confirm that, but my last name, Bornay, sounds French at least. And at the time, I had a relative who had grown up in Ohio like me, but had moved to Louisiana as an adult. So when I decided to take this trip to New Orleans, my grandfather warned me not to visit this relative of ours in Louisiana. And I couldn't figure out why my grandfather was making such a big deal about telling me and warning me not to contact this relative. I hadn't planned to contact the relative in the first place because we weren't really close. But my grandfather went on and on and on about how I should not, under any circumstances, contact this relative. I later found out, my grandfather later explained that the relative who was very light skinned, my family is African American. My grandfather explained that the relative was down in New Orleans passing for white, and me being, a dark skinned African American, it would be completely obvious if I showed up on his doorstep saying, "Hi, Uncle so and so." So I bring that up to say that I did not realize I had sort of a connection to this new movie, Passing, starring Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga on Netflix. I watched the movie recently when it first came out, and then I watched a segment on CBS Sunday Morning on YouTube about the movie, and I had not remembered that family incident until the director of the movie, the writer and director Rebecca Hall, was talking about. Well, they had also some different experts, professors, and different experts on race relations talking about colorism and this whole phenomenon of African Americans in the early 20th century passing for white, because they had more advantages, because obviously, segregation was in place. And if you could pass for white, you wouldn't have to deal with segregation. So, and I have to admit, when I found out Rebecca Hall was the writer and director of the movie, I got kind of irritated because I thought, well, a Black director should have been the one handling this story about a very specific issue in the Black community. And I'm so glad that I watched that segment on CBS Sunday Morning, because I found out that Rebecca Hall, she's British, but she has African American ancestry. Now, see, that goes to show you can't jump to conclusions about people. You know, um, I come from an interracial family. Most of my family is African American, but I have white step parents and biracial siblings, and I have light skinned cousins who have been mistaken for white. So even me, coming from a very diverse background, even me, I jump to conclusions and, prejudge people. So this is a new segment for my YouTube channel that I call Talking Back to the Screen. And it's my reactions to a movie as I'm watching it. So I kind of record myself as I'm watching the movie and then give you the highlights. So this is the highlights of the movie, Passing. And I want to say, a few years ago, I realized I had sort of fallen out of the habit of reading fiction. As a writer and a filmmaker, I read a lot of how-to books about filmmaking and about writing, and also a lot of self-help books about personal development. And I realized a few years ago that I hadn't read a fiction book in a long time. So I Googled famous books by African American authors. And this novel, Passing, and forgive me, I don't remember I think the author's name may be Nella Larson, but I'm sorry, I forgot to look that up before I recorded this video. Anyway, I read this novel, and it's a thin novel. It's not very long. It's maybe a couple hundred pages, and it's a real page turner. It's really like a thriller. It was written in the 1920s, but it feels so current. It's about a woman, a friendship between two women, and one of them is passing for white. Two African American women, and one of them is passing for white. And I was just mesmerized by this novel. But when I found out Netflix had made a movie about it, I was just, of course, really, really excited to watch it. So here are the highlights of my reactions while I was watching Passing when it first came out on Netflix. And I'd like to hear your reactions. Leave in the comments what you thought about the movie, and not only what you think about the movie, but that whole phenomenon of passing, and are we past that, no pun intended, in the African American community? Or are there still people who feel the need to sort of hide their identity to advance themselves in society? So I'd love to hear what you think. I'm not so sure about it being in black and white. I don't think it needed to be in black and white, but okay. I know they're going for the period feel. It almost looks out of focus. It's not just in black and white, it's like kind of out of focus. I guess that's sort of also the point, is this is like making a point of life is these characters don't have clarity about life. Beautiful scenery, like this restaurant that they're in. I guess this is the scene where the one character meets the other after having been apart for years. Okay, she does not look white. This character that's passing does not look white to me, even with blonde hair.
Not really, really. I'm afraid I can't seem to place.
And if she's passing, why would she go up to her black friend? That doesn't really make sense if she's passing and trying to totally blend into the white world. Why would she call attention to the fact that she's associated with this black woman?
Now don't run away.
Well, this woman who's passing is volunteering to go visit her black friend in Harlem. She's like she has a wish to be found out that she's passing.
I'm sure.
I don't remember them being this explicit in the book, talking about passing.
I
think it was more implied.
Occasionally, I suppose, but no.
So that is my initial impression of the movie Passing while I was watching it. There are a lot of dramatic twists and turns in the movie that I don't want to give away, so I would encourage you to watch the movie on Netflix and also to read the novel. And I will put the link to the CBS This Morning interview with Rebecca Hall in the description to this video, as well as another good conversation with the director about her personal family issues and personal connection to the movie, to the themes explored in the movie Passing, which of course I relate to, as I shared in the beginning of this video. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel.